and welcome to the SmackDown review. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by WhatCulture, here to look back on what happened on this week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review SmackDown, but also the show formerly known as NXT 2.0, AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Hamflett to review this week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown.
This is not me pretending to be one of the Motor City Machine Guns from back when they were over. I'm pointing at what appears to still be an embedded bit of gravel from the Great North Run when my hands and legs took a fall. And I got most of it out. But, like, it's not even a scab.
It's a part of you now.
It is like that. It's not jumping out the skin or anything. It's just under it. Skin has grown atop this gravel. And now it's in my hand.
That sounds like a 1975 song.
Skin has grown atop this gravel.
Or like a Morrissey thing. Skin has grown
across. Wait a minute. Skin has grown across this gravel, but men still walk atop it. And it's about the closing of a mill in Manchester.
Very good.
I love the Smiths. And then they were gone, and that was fine, and nobody ever needed them to get back together again. And then you can kind of just like abandon Morrissey at any point you see fit and stick with Johnny Marr if you want to see some Smith song live. So everybody wins in a way.
If we were going to compare this episode of SmackDown to cinema, I suppose you could say the main event was a horror show.
I mean, heaven knows I'm miserable now because...
it was all going so well.
Was it? Like, the thing is... We've talked about this a little bit on the Raw preview, where I did offer some thoughts while Sid was here, because I just sensed that there's like a lot more to pass about this main event when we get there. But I still maintain that this supposed production house that Triple H has deemed WWE to be he's kind of deemed to be two things, of course, let's not forget. It's the storytelling company, because remember, as Our Button has said for years, when they joined with Netflix, they did indeed become cinema. They didn't become home entertainment like nothing else until they joined with the ESPN, and they said, well, kind of, we were sport from the beginning. Actually, shut up.
Sports cinema.
Where everything, it's what they've always said. The recognised symbol of excellence is sports cinema. We've always said that. We called it that, if anything.
Yeah.
Like, if they were so bloody great, if there was just a room full of showrunners in Gorilla, one senses, they could have helped get the wrestlers out of the little spot of bother they got into in the main event. It was a mess. It was a stinking hot bag of that nobody could stomp out at the front door of SmackDown. And I just thought this was such an up and down show that it was quite fitting, I suppose, no pun intended, roll credits, that this ended taking last week's one of its biggest ups and making a massive Debbie Downer out of it all, because we couldn't have been higher on the Jade Cargill-Tiffany Stratton match that was interrupted by Nia Jax as a bit of a, not recovery from the SummerSlam match, but the SummerSlam match was kind of now.
Yeah.
And then they have this TV one, it's loads better. And you think, do you know what? Yeah, I'm back on the horse here. I'm back invested. You've done it, WWE. Congratulations. And the winner fight Stephanie Vicaire, which in itself feels like quite we discussed it. Like, every combination was interesting. So they really had us. That's a good Al. Like, and it was SmackDown in a nutshell for me, because I thought there was real signs of life at points on this show. And then other stuff was total trash. Total
gotta agree with you.
Road dog grade garbage. Like, I will get to it. But yeah, a night of ups and downs. As every night is if you watch WhatCulture on main for Simon Miller's reviews.
And if you're a fan of ASMR, enjoy this week because he's lost his voice.
What does ASMR stand for?
Autosexual...
Neurotic asphyxiation.
Yeah, you like... it's completion, basically.
So...
Do people genuinely listen to it? I was going to say, do people genuinely listen to it because it's like a soothing voice, or like a book at bedtime or something?
I think there's an ASMR that is just for something it does to your brain. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think Miller's just going to be talking people off this week. I think no more than usual. I think
that makes me warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum.
I mean, let's explore that, because I just got goosebumps, baby. Is there nothing this man can't do when a microphone's in front of him? Maybe you could have kept local radio going longer if you'd have just, you used to do the evening show, didn't you?
I did.
Kind of the opposite, if I'm being, love you, mate. Kind of the opposite to what I would typically expect from a local radio station in their evening content. Normally, there's, I'm Jeff Bitch, and this is the wind down zone. We're going to ease you into the night shift with a few deep numbers for that deep slumber. Cut to, I've got Frank from the X Factor.
It was all, it was just like, our breakfast team are professional enough to interview people they don't consider celebrities. Give it to Wilbourn.
Love that.
Like anyone really big, breakfast getting them.
Of course, yeah.
Apart from ones where it's like, well, you can have them, but you have to travel down to London and back in the same day to interview Taylor Swift or Bruno Mars or whatever. Oh, Wilbourn will do that. Will I? What time's my contract run till? Huh? Why am I up at 6 a.m. and I don't start a show until 7 p.m?
It's the offshoots with Adam Wilbourn. Like, we've got the best of what's left.
Yeah. It is funny, though, because I've like this real stan mentality now for the most obscure pop stars.
Yeah, of course.
No. They're good people.
Yeah, cool.
I will not hear a bad word against John Newman. Love me, the guy.
I need to know that guy.
He was part of the departure gift I got when I left the radio station, because we had this, in the West Midlands, infamous ping pong match, because I discovered...
I think I've seen this.
Yeah, that he had his thing on tour was ping pong. Yeah. Like when he, some of them do drugs. Some
of them play table tennis.
Yeah, he plays table tennis. And I was like...
Some of them do drugs.
I'm class at table tennis. I can beat you. Uh-huh. And I wore tennis whites and beat him. He was way better than I was, but occasion got to him, so beat him. And then when I left, they gave this frame picture. Anne Louise won't let me put it up in our house, but it's like a signed ping pong paddle. Should
we get John Newman on there? I'd like him on the SmackDown.
I'll message him.
Can we
sincerely doubt he'll ever remember who I am or reply.
Ask him. Just say hello mate, how's it going? Can you send a voice note? Say to him, right? Hypothetically, top of my head. Hi mate. Got a new phone, so I'm not sure if this is your number. Either you've slept with my wife and my mum, and I'm going to come and get you, or you're recording star John Newman. And as it happens, if you are recording star John Newman, I could really do you to send us a voice note back, because just get your thoughts on SmackDown in general. WWE's B show airs on Fridays. We do previews on the Friday, but we'll also do reviews on the Monday. So anytime you want to get that, then they're fine. Or if you slept with my wife and mum, I'm going to get you. Let us know, mate.
Ta-ra.
Cheers. Yeah, Wilbs. Sign off with your own name, just to be on the safe side. Just see what he gets back to you with. Let us know, gang. What your takes on ASMR is. Is it just for wanking for your ears, or is it more of a spiritual thing?
I'd look at someone in the WhatCulture office differently if they opened their YouTube thing and it came up with loads of ASMR videos.
I haven't got I've gotten into the habit of listening to stuff when I go to sleep. It would just be whatever podcast I was listening to that day. I'm not picking something as such.
I can't do that.
Well, it's not great, right? Because sometimes I'll fall...
because I'm making notes about how they could be better.
My brain is critically analysing at such a rate that I can't sleep.
Do you know I'm representing us at an event next month?
No. I would have liked to have known this in advance so I could give the opportunity to represent us too.
Well, it's taking place in Sunderland.
Well, I'm going to flip this desk in a minute, mate. Hang on. There is a podcast-related event in Sunderland and I'm not a part of it.
It's kind of a radio-related event, mate. You wouldn't know about it.
I was once contacted by the great Stephen Goldsmith of the Wise Men Say podcast, who works for the University of Sunderland, my alma mater, to see if it was okay to mention us, in a presentation he was doing about people that went to the university, did media degrees, and have since gone on to work in the media. Admittedly, I was kind of at the very, very bottom of a list with substantially more famous people. But nonetheless, I think I might have made it into the Cliffs Notes at the bottom. And I was like, yeah, and here we are. It's myself, it's Michael Sidgwick and Adam Wilbourn. Where the was my invitation to this Sunderland thing, mate, in the so-called radio thing? Let me tell you about radio in Sunderland. It's called Sun FM. I'm not sure if it's still operational. I think it might be. Simon Grundy, the breakfast DJ.
Born on a Monday, of course.
Yes.
When was he christened?
He's the top brass at Sun FM. You got him?
I've never discovered something. Show you.
Top brass at Sun FM blocked me on Twitter because I made a joke about his breakfast show in the really, really early days of Twitter. Really early days. And he didn't like it and he blocked me.
Read the thing there.
Right, I'm pretty angry about this because I went to this all the time. Right, I'm going to read this now. A foot in the door, a day. You're not going to listen to work time, are you?
I am, yeah.
You
Right,
me.
I've got to write down the swears now. You can't do this whilst I'm doing this because I've got to write down the swears.
Right, sorry, maybe that's why he's actually the trained one here. Right, I'm pretty angry about this on two counts because the first thing I've seen is that it's on a Wednesday. So guess what he's going to get out of? And I'm so angry reading this because I went there. Right, Wednesday the 15th of October, followed by a social event until 9. I bet he'll be around for that as well. Anna Louise, ask questions.
I've got out there, I've got my commitments.
David Putnam Media Centre. Yeah, I know all about that, mate. I was one of the first graduates of it. Foot in the Door is a one-day event for people at entry and early entry career. Try and build a skills development, open access expertise through training workshops and a fair speed networking session. It's really great. Like, this looks so cool. He's scrolling through the list. You've made me want to be sick to my stomach, JR. We've got Sarah Carter, the executive producer of BBC Radio Newcastle.
Yeah, big name.
Sarah, I would love to meet you. Wilbourn said he spoke to people at the BBC before about opportunities to this podcast. It never materialised. I'll come along and try. Adam Wilbourn, head of podcast. What Culture? Yeah.
The twos.
Love him. George Willis, operation team leader, BBC. George, love to reach out and speak to you. Chloe Wilson, senior studio director, BBC. 3 people from the BBC, the greatest media institution and gift to this nation from this country, and Adam Wilbourn of What Culture. Not Adam Wilbourn, Mike Hamflett, Michael Sidgwick from What Culture. No. Where was the email? Where was the email where they've said, we'd like to invite all 3 of you along to the podcast? And you replied saying, don't bring these 2 stinking no good, you know what they call Hamflett and Sidgwick in What Culture? And they call them luggage because I'm carrying them here and I'm carrying them there. They want the invite. I can't remember where Hamflett even graduated from, so it's probably irrelevant. Tom.
See if you're around. Love to see you there.
Get on with the show. I'm gonna send some pretty angry worded emails about it.
Pretty cool though, because I went to a Foot in the Door event as a student radio presenter, and
I went to the university and I worked there, so I win, right? I win this conversation. You better mention me. I'm serious. I want.
I can't remember if I did in my blurb or not. I think I might have taken all the credit. I'm just talking in absorbing.
Get somebody to film it when you mention me.
I'll say, of course, I couldn't do this without Michael Sidgwick, my only co-host.
The cheek of it, man. You were going to be walking through the hallowed halls.
I've never been to Sunderland Uni.
Well, you shouldn't. You don't deserve it anymore, actually. You'll be walking the same steps I walked a million times. Million dreams of doing what you're doing. And I am going to be sat here.
I was going to say, if I'm not here, then someone else has got to preview AEW Dynamite.
It absolutely. I've got a stress headache now.
Well, hold on to that because we've got this show to go through.
Can't believe you've done this.
Michael Cole welcomes us to Friday Night SmackDown and introduces Booker T as his partner on commentary.
Yeah. He's kind of stepping into Corey Graves' role and then almost takes a piss a bit. It reminds me of something. Actually,
he said checks and championships again. He literally has like 5 phrases. You know, Booker's Fave 5, is that his phrases to say on television?
Honestly.
He says the same thing on NXT. He's just checks and championships. Yeah. What is it? Champagne something?
Caviar dreams. Yeah. He is like, he has made a sort of like a science of making things mean nothing. Like the whole deal is like Michael Cole still trying to earnestly say no Corey Graves still. Like, put his life on the line trying to save me and he's still injured. And Buxy's like, yeah, I'm with the show. So what? It like loses all of its like...
Double duty because he worked No Mercy, of course.
Treble duty in a way because him and Vic did SmackDown the week before.
Oh, yeah.
So he's kind of inexplicably getting himself about a bit at the moment, his old Booker T.
Well, Stephanie Vaquer was on this show, so that kind of...
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
We get a big WrestlePalooza recap, and Paul Heyman's in the ring and does his usual, ladies and gentlemen, shtick. saying he's going to paraphrase a pseudo de facto secondary champion and says, "So, Orlando, what do you got?" More of that at Foot in the Door if you come in.
What does it entail? What are you going to do, Mr. Big Shot?
I think it's more to do with my path through student radio into.
Well, I can't have noticed it says head of podcasts on your.
That's because my job.
It doesn't say local radio doyen, as put over by my faithful and trusted colleague Michael Hamflett, who's done nothing but praise my background and indeed present ground. Like we are but men that are lifted by those beneath us. Standing on the Shoulders of Giants, Oasis once infamously called their generally considered critically acclaimed worst album. It's my wife's favourite. What's the problem?
What?
I'm going to smash the house up tonight over this. The Tom Cowie Lecture Theatre.
If those walls could talk, eh?
You're a piece of That venue is absolutely gorgeous. You are going to be...
We'll see.
You were going to be taken aback. Like the media facilities, as of 2003, when I first started university there, were seen as like industry leading in the country.
Yeah, Warwick better.
I was born in Worcestershire. Why don't you just go there and do one of your stupid bloody speeches? When you go to Redditch and say, "I'm the most famous man born in this town and I wasn't even born here." Sure, people will just welcome you in with a bloody red carpet out for the hoi polloi. Nobody thinks of the little guy.
We're still mates, aren't we? Still good.
We'll talk about this after the podcast.
He still wants to talk about Seth Rollins for the crowd chats OTC. I did like Heyman's line about, like, I'd love to talk about the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, but unfortunately it's disrespectful to speak of the injured. Yeah. After he got his air stretchered out of Paris by Big Bronson Reed. I guess you had to be there. How about instead
I'd like to be anywhere, if anything. I'll go anywhere, mate. Especially on a Wednesday.
Sorry, I'm not having this from you. I've decided, after the weekend you've had compared to my weekend, which was lovely, spent with the family.
Here we go. Here we go. It all comes out. Somebody had a kid, realises that occasionally it's tough. Not as if he's got two colleagues every fucking day that told him so. Yeah? All you got to do.
The hardest part of your weekend was downloading FIFA, right?
You know, it was so stressful. Like, I was really, really hungover. Those that follow me on X/Twitter at Michael Hamflett will know that I was drinking everything in the town.
The Goldie looking chain, you lucky bastard.
Goldie looking chain on the Friday. I went to a dance festival on Saturday in which I saw Entrance perform Set You Free. Like something off a bucket list.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Ian Van Dahl,
Castles in the Sky?
DJing at 4 p.m. in the afternoon in Sunderland City Centre. Like, it was like, Sunderland is a music city. Apparently it's the capital of culture as well. We got Ian Van Dahl and Adam Wilbourn. That was brilliant. It was absolutely, I'll let this go in a bit.
Is there any other DJs called Ian? Like, he's a bit of, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome DJ Ian Van Dahl. Oh, thank God.
Ian Van Helden. You don't even know me, because I'm almond. There's probably not, is there?
He's an almond, isn't he? That's
almond.
That's an almond that, no, but it's an almond that DJs.
He's nuts. So that was really good. Gig I was supposed to be going to on the evening got postponed on account of all the other music happening in the city. That was fine. Sunderland won, so the city got turned upside down. Yeah, you just got a bunch of people crying, looking at their phone screen.
Saturday night, you're third in the league.
Third, just looking at screenshots, third in the league. Oh no, Spurs have drawn. We've got into fourth. Like,
yeah,
fifth by Sunday because neighbours to the north couldn't do us a favour, could they? The second biggest team in the northeast couldn't just see it through to keep us fourth in the table. No bother, no complaints. And I was stinkingly hungover because they were selling bottles of Chesterfield's own Blue VK, 3 for a £5. And I don't
we'll get rid of stock probably.
I think 15 or something. Like just loads and loads.
What was
of
the shot as well called?
Like Cactus Jacks. Bang, bang. Just had a bunch of them. Different flavours, different colours, different needs.
How was Sunday morning? I was going to text you when I was going to football.
So painful. Like I had a cheesy chips bolognese thing that I just ate like a pig. And it's like just troughed that. And I was like, I thought this is everything I need. Surely I will wake up fine. I didn't know.
You go bowling?
Yeah. Did all the dad stuff, but just like had to buy some time. Like so painful. My head so painful, my stomach. I don't want to be gross to people. I don't know when you're watching this. I'm in the toilet you know. And then both. And I was just my head hurt so much. And then like I was walking with a limp for a bit. I don't think it was my hips or one of my legs, but like, it's like, it's just really sore.
Got the reorganised Stone Roses gig to go to still.
Hopefully, yeah. Whenever that gets rearranged for. Yeah, and then it was bowling actually shook me out the hangover a bit. My wife won. It was rough. Get her next time. She was really good, actually. Kids are great. Slow down, kids. Slow down. And then, yeah, I'd bought FIFA off Amazon. And it does that thing where it's like, all you need to do is simply this. And then like an hour and a half has passed and you will not buy a second copy of this game, but you've just spent £70. Why is it not appearing on the Xbox?
Oh, no.
Like it's redeemed on my phone, but that's not an Xbox. I can't play it on my phone. Not for me, for my son. It's his Xbox. And we finally got it working. Took ages to install as well, all that whole thing. And then actually it came pretty good because... So we played a few games, like the new, like there's this authentic mode where like he was Sunderland, which is great because Premier League straight away. It remembers like who you support and stuff. So like they came up first. I'm Newcastle, came along. Went to the Championship because that's typically our handicap. I just picked Wrexham because they were there. We were having this 3-2 thriller. He's a goal up, but like the players get tired in a more like again authentic fashion. And there's this.
I sense kids don't really know how to manage players in those sort of situations.
Automatic substitute thing comes up, and typically it would just be like for like or whatever. Off goes Isidore. And like on comes the defender and the tactics switch. And I'm trying to do my same thing just to pile forward and I cannot break him down. And we're just playing out this like classic last couple of minutes. He wins, he sees it through. He wins 3-2. It's totally gripping. And then he wants to do his manager mode. And you can go to the manager section. It's like, play as yourself, I'll play as an existing manager. And there's Reggie Lebris, just their animated character that's been made now because you're like back in the big time.
Proper, yeah.
I was brilliant, man. It was absolutely brilliant. Like, just looks at the league table some more. I'm reading a lot about football tangent. Sorry, I'm reading a lot about how Sunderland are crap is what I'm reading, and I don't care. Like I don't think it's
40.
True.
It doesn't matter.
I don't think it's true. By the way,
you're a quarter of the way right now to 40. Easy, surely.
Yeah, like I'll say it every week until I'm blue in the face, and I was blue in the face on Saturday.
VK blue in the face.
Point per game is the first thing. Respect the point and stay 3 points above the relegation zone, and everything else is golden. Anything else is just a bonus. But like everyone's kind of having a bit of a go because it's like, well, you beat Villa and they're crap at the moment, and you beat Forest and Big Andrew's taking us. A, not our problem. You just got to play the games in front of you.
Exactly.
But B, you look at those fixtures. West Ham on the first day and Villa and Forest with like Champions League qualifying Villa and like Champions League nearly men Nottingham Forest within the first month and a half. You'd be like, ooh. Everything looks stiff in context, doesn't it? Wilbourn. Like, and those games would have looked like really difficult. And take a point. And we beat West Ham and we beat Forest. I'm sorry if the circumstances didn't suit. I have just as many concerns that Ruben Amorim's controversial system will get its like 1 in 5 game success rate at our expense. So he can do his old like see and then get sacked the next week instead. But we'll see, I guess. But yeah, I like looking at the league table and the points total.
How about we talk about the dog that is going to main event WrestleMania? Back to Paul Heyman on SmackDown, of course. 5-10 straight years, the man that's going to lead WWE into the 2030s, maybe even the 2040s. Braun Breaker. Is that what we should talk about? Or perhaps we should talk about the conspiracy theories and rumors regarding Brock Lesnar.
What was that? Like, I hate Paul Heyman, the little creep. Like, he does this sometimes where, like, he's, like, got this edgelord part of his, like, it existed there in the 90s and, he used it once as part of his kind of, like, cult leader mentality. But it's just so unpleasant. Is that what we're doing? I keep saying this. The Brock Lesnar thing was this weird Vince McMahon soft launch, and I hate it, and I don't feel any different about that now.
I don't need any of that.
No.
Braun Breaker's great. Cue Cody Rhodes interruption.
Yeah, and the idea was to bring. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I will say it wasn't entirely without context. There had to be a mention of the.
That's me mentioning Brock, to be fair.
Brock Lesnar because of where Cody's about to take the promo, but the choice to do it this way, I just thought was really ugly, and I feel like Paul Heyman is like smirking in people's faces a bit too much with some of the things he does, and it's not the right kind of heat for me. Yeah, some people might disagree. There's another example on this show, and we have a bit of a bit. We don't do bits, but if we did, we have a bit of a bit that like whenever something's rubbish, it's Road Dogg's fault, right? It screams Road Dogg creative in that kind of like, take that, the wokes. I think you know the character I'm talking about. Week 2, absolute crap. Like already a freezing cold takedown of this imagined...
my brain to work out which segment this was.
Yeah,
it's blatantly obvious.
Imagined view of like, oh, the offended left. And I feel like Paul Heyman was going for the same thing here. And I was like, piss off.
Well, bing bong, squeeze me. Out comes Cody Rhodes and says, I made a mistake, Mr. Heyman, calling you a goon last week. You're not a goon. You're one of the most smartest men I know. You love to stir it up. You've got an entire locker room stirred up. He says, tell me about Brock Lesnar. We saw that package about WrestlePalooza, of course. What concerns me, I know Brock Lesnar. I don't know him as well as you. But does that look like, and they throw the image up of Brock and Heyman from SmackDown, of course. Does that look like the face of somebody who knows this is just a one-night thing? I'll be more precise. I'd love to know who I'm talking to. Am I talking to the Oracle, to the Wise Man, or am I talking to the Advocate? Paul Heyman fires back. You're talking to the GOAT. And as the greatest of all time, I respect the fact that you're confronting me about Brock because you, as you know, as everybody else knows, when Brock Lesnar's here, everyone's in danger. Well, good news for tonight. Brock Lesnar's not here this evening, but what makes you think, Mr. Rhodes, that you're not in danger right now? And out comes the two Bronnies, the Vision, circle around the ringside area. And Cody sort of knowingly goes, here we go. He says, look, I guess it's about time. I hear you're the future of the industry, how dangerous you both are. You're going to inherit all of this. Maybe you're right. Brom, I'm sure that Mr. Heyman tells you all the time you're a WrestleMania main event waiting to happen. I bet he tells him the very same thing. Bronson Reed. At your age, I would have killed to have been a Paul Heyman guy. Here's a little unsolicited advice. I grew up the son of the Booker. I've been around people like him. I studied Vern, Bill Watts, Eric, saw it all. You could always tell what they were doing it for. You could always tell why they were doing it. This one, no one's figured him out yet. Who is Paul Heyman loyal to? One thing I can guarantee, it ain't you. And he sort of realizes, well, we're about to have a bare-knuckle fight. It looks like you guys want to fight. Probably not a good decision on my part, but what the hell? And he gets into it. He gets out of a Reed body slam, lands on his feet, goes to the crossroads, but there's a big lariat from Bron Breakker. 2-on-1 beatdown from the Vision on Cody Rhodes when Randy Orton comes out to make the save for his friend again. He tries to RKO Bron. Bron gets out of it, but Orton nails Reed with the RKO and Rhodes clotheslines Bron Breakker over the top rope as the two friends stand tall to close this segment.
Yeah, this was excellent. This was like from Cody coming out onwards. This was kind of what WWE used to be all the time, like the believable yarns that Cody likes to spin as the top star. We say this all the time to the point where it's becoming a bit of a piss take, but it's really not. Cody Rhodes is like necessary to the success of SmackDown.
Head and shoulders above everyone else.
To an insane degree. It's wonderful when he turns up on Raw, but you've always felt that like Raw's, it's got someone like a CM Punk, for example. It's got to an extent a Seth Rollins, but like I would say Punk especially has felt like, well, that's Raw's in reasonable health. Cody Rhodes, oh my God, like I don't know how a SmackDown manages without him when he's not around because he lifts everything. This was terrific. Spoke with passion and enough truth, even when he's just working it really about like tying the history of like promoters that want to become more, that want to sort of swallow up the spotlight as Paul Heyman always does, and people bounce from but then also acknowledging that, well, no, I would have wanted it too. Like when you're young and dumb and full of cum, you want to get like a sort of a mouthpiece and a person that can just like, you know, sort of like build you up and make you the top guy. But yeah, you're too stupid and naive, which in itself is kind of patronizing enough to have like Bron Breakker in particular going, what? Like
he took his shirt off in this and it looked like, I don't know, it just disintegrated. Yeah. You know, like Hogan was like, he just went, just ripped off.
You want to see if they can like make a gimmicked one that just sort of he can flex his way and break. So that was really cool. And I was going to say, and I'll tell you what else I like, but there's a couple of things I liked it. We'll do Orton last. So as well as this, right, if you want to tie this to Raw, and I see no reason why they wouldn't, and Cody Rhodes saying what he said to Seth Rollins, and Rollins sort of taking that on and starting to question, hang on, like how little must you think of me? And do I need to think little of me? Does everybody think little of me? Am I crap? Am I rubbish? Like Cody has done that on a Monday and then has turned up on Friday and now said this to the Vision, which is questioning Paul Heyman's validity and Bron Breakker's maybe ability to be that top guy, which is further questioning Seth Rollins because, like, well, you put the stable together, mate, and I kind of think I've got them. So it's like, just say Seth Rollins' next thing. So you think I can't even do that? Like, you don't value me, you don't value my stable, and we're supposed to be mates, and I was your shield. And I think that's like a really cool overlap to not use Seth on SmackDown and get so much from the segment. I like it a lot because, of course, what this is all about in the foreground is Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes' SmackDown feuд outside of the Seth Rollins mini program. They weren't subtle with it. Randy Orton stares at the belt and all that kind of thing, like when he hands it back to him, and you know where it's going, but this is the good kind of predictable.
I've been waiting for this for months. I'm really excited.
Backlash France was when, if I'm not mistaken, or SmackDown France before Backlash France was when Randy Orton first eyeballed that belt on Cody, and here we are. And there's been really nice teasers along the way. The last one was the match they had for the King of the Ring final, was it not?
Yes.
And that's ultimately what put Cody back, sent him back on the route to the promised land. So, yeah, I really, really love this. They've taken the time with it. People would have rational arguments why it's taken too long, but I think when we get the payoff, it's going to be really, really worth it. And the worst thing is for Cody Rhodes is that there will probably be a couple of more things that Randy Orton will now stack up of receipts of, like, you should have seen this coming. And the fans will be like, we've told you this is coming. Yeah. Like, it's got that nice dramatic irony that wrestling can play with sometimes. So yeah,
it's not exactly an RKO out of nowhere.
No, very well put. Maybe we'll do all right at the University of Sunderland after all. I loved it. I love this. Other than the Paul Heyman edgelord stuff, loved this.
Yeah. We go backstage, and there is Kathy Kelly ahead of this tag team title number 1 contenders match there with the Street Profits. There's no tension. It's fine. Look, they've got each other's back, says Angelo Dawkins. Families fight sometimes, but at the end of the day, the goal remains the same. Whoever doubts their brotherhood, the Profits are still up and still here, and they want the smoke. And then we get the Street Profits versus Melo, Miz, Carmelo Hayes, and the Miz, who are, of course, awesome. And this was sort of the tag team breakup derby, would you say?
Yeah, aye.
They play with it quite nicely throughout the match. So initially, Street Profits are in control. They're a more cohesive team, of course. Miz gets chucked to the outside. Dawkins realizes, I can do the running around not the spear spot, but the body tackle thing that he always does. But as he goes for that, Melo, looking out for his partner, drop kicks him, and they stand tall as we go to our first break. When we come back, Tez is in trouble. He gets hit with a kneeling DDT from the Miz, and these two are working together to isolate Montez Ford. Double team clothesline in the corner. Miz taunts Dawkins and gets hit with a kick to the face from Ford. But Hayes comes in to cheap shot Dawkins. Ford keeps trying to get out and get to his partner, and does manage to knock down Melo, but... Oh, no, maybe kicks Miz out the ring. I can't remember exactly how this works. Regardless, as he goes to his corner, Miz pulls Dawkins off the apron to the outside, and Hayes hits Ford with the first 48. Looks like he's got it. Heads up top to hit nothing but net. But again, as we've seen regularly, Miz is like, I'll take it from here. And that allows Ford to get out, get the tag. And all of a sudden, Melo is questioning everything. We watch this in real time. Dawkins hit that corkscrew elbow thing that he does, spinning neck breaker. Frog splash from Montez Ford. Goes to the pin. 1, 2. Melo can dive in and break up this pinfall, but he just watches as the ref counts to 3. Street Profits become number 1 contenders, and they're the Riot 6 to look creepy on the announce table.
Yeah. Good and bad across the piece here. We cannot, me and you on this podcast, dating back 5 years plus now, have been nothing if not 100% sincere all the time. At a bare minimum. And we cannot sit here on this podcast and thus say that this is like a success for the booking and a rehabilitation for the tag division, because the whole thing was frigging ice cold. Like, there is a Street Profits split happening. A Street Profits split. Think of how big a deal that should be.
Yeah.
and it's playing out to library noises in these buildings. It is. I'm not saying that the turn or the big moment might not get the reaction it warrants, and maybe it's not going to happen. It's not going to be as simple as how they lose the Wyatts and then they split, like they just lost the Wyatts on the PLE.
The tag titles. Nothing against the Wyatt Six, but I don't want them as tag champs.
But we did just have them as tag champs, Street Profits, didn't we?
I think they should have lost them.
Yeah. So I question if they can reach the point in this split. I would love to be proved wrong because I love the Street Profits, but I question if they can really get to the point that when the split occurs, they're going to get the reaction they want out of whoever turns on whoever. Like you have very credible dynamics for either man to be heel. Like you could have Montez Ford as the guy that like often gets a bit over exuberant and just like he lets that become arrogance. Similarly, you can get Angelo Dawkins to be the one who's always like, why did you just think you were going to get all the attention? And he's like slightly bigger and he can muscle Montez Ford around. Well, there is definitely a heel turn that works here. But because this is ultimately like a split that is happening off the back of quite a failed push, a failed extended run for the Street Profits, you got to handle it like with a bit more excitement and dynamism than what we're getting right now. Conversely, I quite like what we're getting with Melo and Miz.
Mm-hmm.
It's more over than the Street Profits impending split and the potential tag match with the Wyatts and everything else. It's got a little bit of character to it. Melo has sort of, I don't know, I think he's unlocked something human in himself that maybe wasn't there before because he was playing either like, well, what would you even class him as a babyface in NXT? Just, I've made it to the top and I'm the best. That was his babyface role. And then as a heel, it was like...
proving the doubt is wrong.
Yeah. And then as a heel, he was kind of more arrogant and showboaty and I won't have anyone tell me that my friend is better than me and whatever. And then he kind of comes to the main roster with neither of either. You know, he doesn't have the stakes with the audience or the credibility to be the arrogant, you know, kind of like, prove me wrong, I'm the best. Neither does he really have any of that. Like, he tries to be a heel, doesn't he? Like, he's cocky with the likes of Cody. Remember when he was doing the like, I'll be backstage saying that you're a piece of mate. Like, and like,
yeah.
And they were trying that for a bit, and then they dialed that all the way back, didn't they? Because he wasn't winning much, and you can't really pull that off. But this, I like this. I do like this. I think the Miz, selfless as ever, is just trying to, like, he'll be whatever is needed for this story to work. And you kind of simultaneously empathize with Melo's frustrations while also having that little bit of like, yeah, but come on.
Yeah.
Like, this is I think this is one of them quite nice, sophisticated tag breaks-ups that's asking you to watch and make your mind up rather than just be as simple as baddie, goodie. You know?
Yeah.
I've got a bit more time for watching this one play out. Street Profits less so.
We get a Jade Cargill interview. We got this throughout the night, basically. Each of the three people in this main event was interviewed with Stephanie Vaquer close by because obviously she'll be facing the winner at Crown Jewel. And basically all of them said to skip over stuff that's going to happen a bit later. I'm going to win and I'm going to face you. And each time Stephanie Vaquer said, okay.
As we said on the preview, all three of them look cool, didn't they? All three combinations.
Did.
You want to see Stephanie Vaquer take on all three of these down the line.
Your boy Tyrese Halliburton's on Stephanie McMahon's podcast.
Love him.
And then we got, what are we doing? Like, I like all the people in this match, but my word.
Oh, God.
Waste of time.
I just remembered what you were talking about. Oh, boy.
Julia and Kiana James versus Meechin and B-Fab.
Don't adjust your audio. What we did there was just play in the sound from the building while this match was on.
Nothing interesting's happened with this.
Terrible storytelling. Terrible storytelling.
Been really bad.
Yeah. What was it, SmackDown and the tag division stuff? Both like men's and women's tag divisions, just meek, indifferent booking.
Maybe we could bring in a tag team that, I don't know, invaded NXT last week. Just a thought.
I can't wait for Tuesday's preview. But you can't either. Preview come NXT No Mercy.
All I want to think about, the first proper week in October, like that is on a Tuesday, that is all I'll be thinking about.
Wait a minute. That's not the week you're doing the thing, is it? The uni?
No.
Oh, that'd be so funny. Is there any way we can move this to Tuesday?
Yeah, move the whole event.
And I was so excited to miss the Dynamite preview. Please.
There was a nice spot where...
I'm not missing Invasion.
B-Fab jumped Kiana James on the floor. Julia dodged a Meechin baseball slide, chucked her over the announce table and was a bit like... And then Meechin, I like Meechin a lot, just appears and does a big drop kick to the floor to take us to a break. When we come back, B-Fab's in trouble. but someone misses an elbow drop, and she goes for a tag to Michin. Gets there. Michin comes in, hits James with a DDT using Julia as a base. That was nice too. But Michin hits James with Eat Defeat. So that sends her into Julia's corner, though, which allows the US champ to make the tag. Julia just nails Michin with the Arrivederci knee. Northern Lights bomb. 1, 2, 3. Can this be over now?
It should be, because you've had every time you've needed a conclusive victory, you've got one. So this should be done. I don't know what the answer is. This was like watching Pandemic Wrestling for all the atmosphere it had. I felt sorry for the performers.
2 or 3 times they were like, come on! And the crowd were like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, do you remember I know you'll remember this one. Yeah. Little cynic about so few things in life, but you're cynical about her. Do you remember the Natalia? Yay! And it was like heartbreaking how little response there was to it. This was a lot
for me.
A lot of that. I don't know what you do. Like, I don't think it's the fault of the women at all. I think the booking, they need to give the head a shake if they think that this is an acceptable way to book, like, kind of women's. Look at the comparison, man. Look at what we've got with, like, say, the Kabuki Warriors, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Just off the top of my head, but like,
just look at it. Remember when Chelsea Green was the Women's United States champion?
Yeah.
It's not on Julia. This is the way Julia's been booked, by the way.
And there's some kicking around, like Chelsea Green, the way, like, just stayed over characters are over, and like, these are not over characters. Julia's booking's bad. Like, her work doesn't get any reaction ever. So, like, a failure of promotion.
They've failed the US title ever since they took it off Chelsea Green. Nothing on Zelina Vega either. They just didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, it's
Meanwhile,
not.
Becky Lynch and it's Becky Lynch, granted, but Lyra Valkyria prior to that as well.
Yeah. IC belts had a brilliant year.
But if you need some good tag teams, I can think of a show that's got them. NXT, Sol Ruka and Zarya show up. That's right, they're borrowing from the show that just has developed year on year. The biggest show in wrestling, in growth.
They're in Orlando.
There's Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Zarya says, let's have a shot at the tag titles. I think you did have one of them. The miscommunication spot that we had.
Literally last week you fought for it, you didn't get it. Back of the line.
Charlotte says Zarya hasn't done anything to deserve it. Zarya quite rightly says, pretty rich coming from someone like you, Charlotte. And Sol's like, sorry about her. She didn't mean that. She doesn't think sometimes before she speaks. And they start arguing, and Charlotte and Alexa are looking like, reminds me of us, basically. And Alexa says, look, you're talented, but at the end of the day, you're not ready. Get in line before demanding title shots. And the NXT duo leave. Charlotte's so proud of Alexa Bliss telling them off. She's learning.
One would assume, they're in Orlando. There's maybe a bit of a teaser of an NXT thing to come on this very episode. And the idea is that Alexa can speak like Charlotte as if she couldn't ever. It's not like she's just like got her out of wrestling school.
No,
but
she wasn't like the first Bayley character either. She would tell people where to go.
Yeah, but whatever.
That was even before she sat on a swing with a doll.
Charlotte likes to do that. I've really brought you on, right? So fine. Them just getting, like, you wouldn't think they brought them on TV just to kind of remind people that they exist, and they might get a title shot. But again, it's just that, like, the thinking's just nowhere near as joined up as it used to be. Like, could win a match, number one contenders match, in fact, to get a title shot, or lose it, give it a couple of weeks, and then just, like, rock up and lip them off.
Yeah, it was like, can we get anyone in to promote No Mercy? Well, we've got someone for Sami Zayn. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Women's Speed Champion?
Will that do? Is this anything? Aye, fair enough. I'd have had them, I wouldn't have had them win, but, like, I'd have been fine with them winning the last time and getting the title shot, for the homecoming episode. That would have been fine too. They're a perfectly fine tag team. And they can do the little contrast stuff should they ever split up as well. So,
yeah, it's a show of these tag teams are splitting.
Yeah, quite a bit of that.
We get a preview of Crown Jewel, and then out comes Drew McIntyre with a big green walking boot on. Some of the bloody fucking Junior Wrestle Police. He says, it just occurred to me when I walked in here. This is the same arena I returned to in WWE in 2017, sitting there at TakeOver. He was meant to be working some WCPW shows as well.
I think there were some people awfully confused about seeing him on screen. That he not mentioned earlier on. He just said he had to get off, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
It says the same arena where he beat Randy Orton in his second WWE Championship, but it was just in front of a bunch of screens. I do feel very sorry for Drew when he talks about these things.
It's funny now. Like, you don't need to feel sorry anymore because he's actually monetized it in its own way.
Yeah.
It fuels part of this guy that always has excuses and blames and bitterness and all that. It's part of it, isn't it?
Yeah. So, he says, this is the arena I should have walked out for the first time in front of live fans as WWE champion, but I'm not because of Cody bloody Rhodes. I had him beat on Saturday. I could see it in his eyes. Everybody could feel it. Everyone was saying it, not just me. But Cody's one step ahead. And then he says, but basically implies everything was against him. Exhibit A, the referee took a full 6 seconds to finally count a pinfall I had, which to be fair, his mate Wade did point out at the time. He said he had him dead to rights for a claymore. I'm going to put his head through the announce table. And what happened? The referee got between us. Is that a DQ? What if I claymore his head into the steel steps? And I was like, you're making quite a few good points here, Drew. He protected him and gave him a second chance, and it cost me the damn championship. Who do the referees work for? WWE or Cody Rhodes? WWE.
Yeah.
I just double check that one. Gives Ryan Tran a mention, says doesn't blame him. He forgives him. He's got a family to provide for. He blames Cody. He's got all the power. And with great power comes great responsibility and even greater corruption. That's exactly what's going on here. Out comes the SmackDown GM. I can't remember what his name is. But he says, you know something, Drew. A lot of things you said make sense.
Famous Scott, the SmackDown GM.
You can actually see a lot of this from your point of view. But this is wrestling. You and I both know that. You win some, you lose some. Sometimes you're the hammer. Sometimes you're the nail. Wasn't your night. Don't make excuses. You're better than that. Speaking of which, actually, I saw you kick that table. I have no idea where that boot's come from because it's not come from our medical team, which is a bit like when I re-injured my foot and used the moon boot when I broke my toe to just walk around on for a bit.
You've done that a couple of times, right? That moon boot got like a couple of extra run-outs, didn't it?
That's great.
Yeah. You still got it now?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Eric wear it, so it's like full length of his leg.
Jesus. Something to your leg. No, it is good. Like, it is genuinely good if you've got like a foot injury, or specifically when I broke my big toe, to take the pressure off that.
How'd you do that again?
I was bloody too good at football, as always. I playing five-a-side. I got to the ball just before another player who was kicking it full force and therefore just kicked the side of my toe. And I thought, well, you can't really do anything about a broken toe, or I didn't think I'd broken it, because I was like, I can still sort of walk. I'll complain, but I can still sort of walk. And shout out to former employee and legend of the office, Simon Gallagher, who saw me limping around the next day and went, what's up? I've kicked in the toe. I think I'm fine. He went, yeah, I had that happen at football once. I broke my toe. I think you've broken your toe. Go to the hospital. But yes, where have you got that moon boot from? He didn't have a moon. He did have a moon boot.
Yeah,
it was just a grey one. And Drew basically implies that the WWE medical team's on Cody's payroll as well. He said, I've got my own medical team. And the SmackDown GM, can't remember his name, he says, stop with the excuses. You're suggesting it's because of corruption? That's insane. Like, I've got to draw the line somewhere. That's not what happened.
He's drawn somewhere line. He's made that like,
yes.
Let me draw somewhere line under this.
The referee's decision's final. That's all I've got to say about it. If you want to stay out here, go ahead, but I'm done. Enjoy the rest of your night. I thought that was very irresponsible. Could you imagine if Drew just the rest of the night was complaining in the middle of the ring? You're like,
right, my list of grievances.
Yeah. No until liars. And Drew rants and raves and says, you're going to walk away from me. SmackDown GM, can't remember what your name is. Everyone knows this is BS. I'm the champion without a championship. Everyone knows in the locker room I'm the most dangerous. Bing bong. Squeeze me. That's Jacob Fatu coming out. Out comes Jacob Fatu. Eric was ecstatic to see this.
Of course.
When I shouted Jacob Fatu at him. He comes down, he just snatches the mic out of Drew's hand and says, man, shut your ass up. You know what? Stop bitching. You go out here every week, you cry, you complain, you're blaming everybody for your own doing. Why don't you sit your peg leg ass down? God, I've missed you, Jacob Fatu. Who the hell do you think you are? You think it's open mic night, huh? He says, look, you've been on a great run the past year, but I'm Drew frickin' McIntyre. Oh, is that, oh my God, is that a Seth Rollins reference? You want to come out here and punk me out? If I wasn't hurt right now, and Jacob snatches the mic back. If you weren't hurt, what? Jacob Fatu says.
Yeah.
You must have forgot. Jacob Fatu's all gas, no bricks. You know what I mean?
That's what he said.
Drew headbutted Jacob Fatu. Fatu super kicked him and then just nailed him with his walking boot to close the segment.
I was flabbergasted at this, honestly.
What, the Scottish accent or the?
Just Jacob's perfect, Glaswegian. I was so
Yeah, I quite like this.
Well, Yeah, my feelings are mixed. I think Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu is one of those like perfect on paper rivalries, isn't it? You've got Drew McIntyre, a guy that, as evidenced really by this exact program, can feud with a big name, lose, recover it, move on to the next one. Like, maybe that's such a moment for Drew McIntyre because there's always been this, like, you feel like you're watching a guy that is desperate to have a little bit more than what he gets. And maybe he's adjusted his own expectations and he can, like, maybe he's seen the Seth Rollins level and thought, I'll have that and nobody can take it away from me. And there's a lot to be said for it. You need a roster of people that can fulfill every role. Yep. And if you become the best at one role, then you're still the best, even if that's not necessarily the top. And he's certainly one of the best at this. So from a booking and a kind of how we analyze these things as fans, you kind of look at it and you go, well, Jacob Fatu can have a couple of good matches with him, presumably beat him, presumably win the feud. A babyface like Jacob Fatu wouldn't be saying, I've beaten Drew McIntyre and I want a title shot. But it sits there in the fans' minds that he's got it done and he's beat him and he's... Yeah. It was just a tone of it. I don't think this has been a good year for Jacob Fatu. I don't. I don't think he was really elevated by his United States title win or feud with Solo Sikoa's Bloodline or any of that kind of stuff. I think this attempt to humanize him a little bit as a baby face is very in keeping with how WWE used to do things. Like, this feels like a lot of compromise around the Jacob Fatu character. I don't sense, I mean, there was literally none here. I don't sense any chaos. There is no chaos in the man that comes out and says, leave the referees and the general manager alone. Like, it's just, that's not like, oh my God, don't run.
I didn't take it as that. And then when you said it on Raw, I was like, it just kind of come immediately after. I took it as him just being like, I'm back. What is the state of everything? People just bitching and moaning instead of just fighting here. But he did also come out off the back of someone saying a bloody conspiracy. He's like, hey, leave the system alone. Wait a second.
So it didn't, like, it wasn't any good last week, right? But last week, they built a crap wall in order for Damian Priest to look chaotic in a backstage segment where somebody goes through a wall. It looked terrible, but the ideation of it, you can sort of see. It's like the opposite of that. Like, this is the opposite of throwing somebody through a wall. It's like, actually, no, can we construct a few more walls? Because I'm really a big fan of the wall building company. Like, I don't think, this feud, should I say, makes sense. This bit absolutely does not.
Yeah, they'll forget all this.
I think so, probably,
2 weeks' time. They'll be like, obviously these two are fighting. Why? Doesn't matter, they're fighting.
Do you think Drew's going to go for the Claymore and then he's going to say, where's the king? And then he's going to reach on the ring, he's going to find his moon boot and it's going to be a loaded moon boot. He's going to try and Claymore him with a loaded boot for a segment.
Are we into it now?
Yeah, that's not bad, is it?
Then we get the Tiffany Stratton one with...
it's got spikes in the bottom or something.
Yes, following this, we get Tiffany Stratton talking about winning the triple threat and going on to face Stephanie Vaquer. And she's like, good. And we get Sami Zayn chatting with Rey Fenix. Nice coming together of those two. Was it Shinsuke? Someone was lurking.
Yeah, they're doing a Nakamura thing, aren't they? Where, like, he's going to want that US title. That stuff in the past. I like this. Something made me laugh about this for a Phoenix. Well, yeah, I love getting beat by you. You go now. Who's going to join the loser queue with me? I don't know. It's just like, wrestling's weird sometimes.
Yeah. Before we find that out, there was another MFT Solo Sikoa focused on JC Mateo. And basically, Sikoa said that Mateo was loyal to him and he'd be rewarded as long as he was part of the family tree. What did JC Mateo say, of course? I love you, Solo.
They're all showing love. More of this next week.
Yeah.
One by one.
And then we got the Sami Zayn US title open challenge.
Oh my God.
Answered by Javon Evans.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was a bit of me, this.
Yeah.
Excited for our boy. Another one of our children on the main roster.
Yep.
We had Solenzari earlier, and I was like, just when I thought I couldn't be any prouder of NXT.
Our NXT kids.
That developmental system that's taken Stephanie Vaquer from nothing to the Raw Women's Championship.
Everyone was on there.
Tiffany Stratton. Oh.
All the way at the top. You know. Seth Rollins.
Cody. Did he ever do stuff? He went down there, didn't he, recently?
Yeah. He was
excuse me,
he was a guest general manager once. He loves it down there. when he's free on Tuesdays, selectively.
One specific Tuesday of the year. But honestly, the moment Javon Evans' music hit and the boy was like, "Oh, bouncy," I was like, "This is going to be the tits."
The tits.
And obviously, they were just so happened to be promoting the excellent NXT No Merci, which was taking place on Saturday night. Mm-hmm. And genuinely, if you haven't seen it, check out Javon Evans versus Josh Briggs. Great stuff, especially because Josh Briggs, I'm fairly certain, chinned Javon after this match.
Like, look,
because Sammy was like, well played. Briggs was like, no.
Do you think they might, I know we're jumping ahead a little bit, do you think they might build this in on NXT, that like Briggs was there to answer Sami Zayn's open challenge, and then he was like 5 minutes from getting ready, and then, what? Yeah, here's Javon Evans' music.
Someone's already said shotgun.
Yeah, because it's pretty handy that he was
there.
Yeah,
I have a question. Yes. You know, like an open challenge, obviously Melo the other week was like, I've got next, which... Can you do that? Like, when I have my five-a-side football thing, Eric, not my son, someone else, great first name though, will send out the email, and like the first 10 to 12 people who says, yeah, I'll play, gets in. You can't turn around and say, I'll play next week as well, actually.
That's not how that works.
So, in theory, couldn't you just say, I'll take the next 6 open challenges, please?
Well, I mean, if you have
Or is it just like whoever sweet talks the music guy? Because like if Briggs jumped in, if Javon Evans like, your boy's bouncy, comes out like, yay, and Josh Briggs just slides in the ring, I'll start the match, please.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't have fannied around so much on the aisle, Javon.
What's the rules?
I don't know, have you ever texted Eric in your WhatsApp group and said, can I just double check, is this being held under Sami Zayn US Invitational rules or not? Double check with that, because maybe like, because theoretically, it's like one of your other mates could have like been ready to pull up, but then like they're too, I don't know, vibing in the car. I had a dream, I had a vision. You just like, I know what that means. Speeding into it. You pull up at goals, squeeze into the last car parking space. Oh dear, look who's in his football kit. And you just get you're the last guy.
We'll do rolling subs. We won't, thank you very much.
Did you ever miss a week through being too late?
Yeah, I have definitely got that awful email back like, we've got 12. And I'm like, yeah, we do. And then it says like reserves. Adam or whoever.
Those would be my favourite weeks. This is why I never play competitive sports, because I would like drive/get myself to goals with like the hope against hopes that I wasn't going to play, and then I would just be able to be there just with my like alone, like for like an hour or something, but not have to do the physical activity.
Yeah.
Even though I had the best intentions of doing so, but it's not quite worked out. Oh no, what am I going to do now? I'm just going to have to sit on my own and go on my phone.
So, yeah, early on, obviously, because this isn't Javon's main roster debut, but it was his main roster singles debut. He did a tag match, didn't he?
He did. What was that?
Great is what it was. I'll find it out once I've gone through this.
Yeah.
Javon, was it Javon and Dragon Lee, or I just made that up in my head because I've just read?
He has wrestled on the main roster, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I had a memory of that as well.
I was going to just type in Javon Evans cage match. That's never going to work. Anyway, I'll go through the match and then... why does that come up for cage match? Anyway, Evans flying around all over the place. A few arm drags from Zayn, and Zayn's like, well done, kid.
Brilliant that.
And then Evans backs him into the corner and chops him. He's like, hey, wind me up, old man. High flying springboard clothesline from Evans and a leaping Rana off the top rope, just as a sneak peek of what this kid can do. He's the future. He's awesome. And he looks like he's going to fly onto Sami Zayn on the outside. Sami Zayn's like, massive lariat. That takes us to a break. Challenger's in trouble when we come back, but he throws Zayn out of the ring. Huge dive over the top rope onto Sami Zayn, and a Blue Thunder Bomb is countered by Javon Evans with a springboard enziguri. Zayn tries to go something off the top as well, but Evans runs up and hits an avalanche Hurricane Rana for a great 2 count. Evans runs at Zayn but gets caught with an exploded suplex, and you think, well, that was nice while it lasted. But a haluva kick gets intercepted by a nice drop kick from Javon Evans. Another attempt at haluva kick. Evans dodges at the last second. And Evans, I genuinely thought, I suppose Evans is taking the US title into NXT No Mercy. He hit an insane cutter, the OG cutter, I should say, for an incredible 2 count.
You, me, and all of Orlando. They came up for this. This was a bite and a half.
Evans goes to the apron for a springboard, but gets caught by Sami Zayn, gets rolled through. Sami Zayn hits a haluva kick, Blue Thunder Bomb, 1, 2, 3. Nice moment between Javon and Sami post-match. And we missed the part that we subsequently saw at NXT No Mercy where Javon was like, oh, God, tough match. And Josh Briggs was like, prick.
Yeah, loved it. Loved it. What it's all about, really. Like Sami
him and
Zayn-
Obafemi aren't, sorry to interrupt, I realised I just asked you a question. If him and Obafemi aren't in the Rumble next year, because Obafemi's literally as free as a bird right now to do that, something's gone horribly wrong.
I'd get Obafemi up, to be honest, as soon as possible. And Javon Evans probably shouldn't be far behind. It's so cool with Javon Evans because there's still stuff to do. He's young. He's got time. Injuries allowing, he's got more that he can add to his game. But this was just everything you would want and hope for from the phrase Sami Zayn United States Invitational. Like the hope spot is kind of a necessity in every match, really. And so far so good because you've had the John Cena, Carmelo Hayes, and now this. Like every week, unless the goal is something different, like to do some troll heat stuff. Every week, the goal should be to get a near fall as hot as this. You're not going to do it every week, but that should be the ceiling of these things. Because ultimately, Sami Zayn's going to retain until he's not. So the result should be the same every week, but God, he's getting pushed, and maybe he builds some injuries on the babyface, or maybe you have it like someone like a Nakamura that instead is going to watch in the shadows and potentially risks not even getting his shot, but when he does get it, he might take the battle. Who knows? But for Javon Evans, like what an opportunity this was to just benefit from the way in which I'm presuming Sami Zayn had a very heavy hand in putting most of this together. You could just sort of see the various points at which.
Well, he came down to NXT and said, "This kid's the future."
That was probably how this came up. Like,
haven't even just say what's wrestler's name am I saying prior to that?
Yeah,
on NXT Home.
That's right. He was. Everyone got a pet wrestler. No, so Sammy's. He did that thing. Nice one, kid. But like, we were able to read both sides of that. Like how Sami Zayn would feel saying that. Oh, good one. To how Javon Evans would feel hearing it. What, pal? Well, don't patronise me.
Yeah.
Like you were able to get both emotions through that. Little things like that. Sami Zayn showing only a bit of his aerial game and instead trying to wrestle as the bigger man. Like that kind of unconventional thing when smaller guys have to be the bigger guy. I love that in general. And what that does is obviously it creates the space for someone like Javon Evans to like operate in where he's more comfortable than say, because he, in some respects he is bigger than Sami Zayn, but they never once played with that. He's the smaller guy in everything but height, basically. Yeah. So it's like, how do I stop Sami Zayn? And I thought they measured the chemistry to perfection. Unbelievable near fall. Sami Zayn, United States champion, a resounding success that, especially in the Cody-less weeks, is carrying the show.
Mm-hmm. And it's a really good sort of, no one mentioned this, but this is getting us through till January.
Yeah, and the booze has subsided the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That doesn't hurt.
Well, apart from when he gets chucked in the air with those near falls. Booze as in the liquid beverage, not the audible displeasure noise.
That's homophonic humour. He's very
The reason why I mention that is because the man who explains jokes is just about to. After Nia Jax was almost recruited, I say almost recruited, Chelsea Green and Alba Fire want a new member. Let's have more of this, please.
Yeah.
This is a real source of. Get well soon to Piper Niven. Would never wish that on anyone, obviously. And I think they were a great trio.
Yeah.
But them trying to recruit people and people trying out, funny.
Yes, into it.
Damian Priest there with Kit Wilson, who's got he's just buggered. He's been put through a wall. He's got a sling on. He says, "You're toxic masculinity, you are." Here we go. Says he dislocated his shoulder last week. He shoves Priest, calls him toxic, and then Priest sort of goes for him just to flinch, and Kit falls over his wheelchair into some oxygen tanks or something. And Priest said, "Bitches be tripping," because he's a bitch. But then Alistair Brack shows up and says, "You've been looking for me." And before they can have a conversation, kicked your head off. Sorry about that. But happy birthday, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean,
Alistair Black needs to be booked for other people's birthdays.
Yes, comes out with cakes and stuff.
Sorry we couldn't organise it at such short notice for the Rainsers, who celebrated their 6-year anniversary over the weekend. Matt and Ashley.
Happy anniversary to Matt and Ashley.
Happy anniversary, guys. Black mess for both of you.
Happy anniversary, Matt and Ashley Rains. Happy birthday, Jules Gill, for Saturday.
Happy birthday, Jules Gill.
Happy birthday, Adam Nicholas, for Sunday. Enjoying his last day off today before I come back tomorrow. And happy nobodies, because all this was absolute trash. So
what are they doing?
All of this.
Like you say, it's like, wow. like it's like a report. Great, Cody's back. What are you doing? Women's US champion. Yeah, Sami Zayn, US Open Challenge. What are you doing, Damian Priest? Nothing's changed from last week. What? It feels like they forget.
Yeah.
And then, oh God, Damian's here. Damian. Hi guys, what am I doing this week? Kit Wilson make him fall over his own wheelchair and then get black masked.
We've got big plans for you. Get us some plans quick. This terrible Alistair Black program just on a loop.
Let's have some fun with this on Friday. Remind me about Alistair Black birthday.
Yeah, birthday.
I have come to give you the bumps.
The birthday bumps with Alistair Black.
Black mash bumps.
I brought some candles. Go on.
Tried to have a lovely moment over the weekend. We had a big NCT reunion. NCT, if you're unaware, is like the group you all go into and you're all going to have kids together. Not together like that, that's weird. Like each individual couple is having a child at the same time. Big reunion at the weekend.
Big orgy.
We went to some trampoline place. It was class. I rock bottomed Eric.
Good, that's good, yeah.
I was real. You
got a jackknife.
Honestly, I love it. I've done it on the bed already. And I was like, it had the pit and I was like, but then I was like, I watched another parent throw their child into another child accidentally, and I was like, that's me. I'll not do that.
Jackknife for your kids, man.
But lovely moment. They're all 2 now, obviously. So we brought some little muffins with a candle in each because they all bloody love blowing out candles. Eric, never ever done this before, loves the whole candle thing. We're all together, light the candle, Daddy's filming, go on, happy birthday to you, we're all singing it, we're all having a good time, right? And then we go around and each kid's going to blow out the candle. Eric blew out his candle, then grabbed it. And we were like, what, you've never done that before?
Grab the candle?
Like, yeah, he's burning wax, that son. What are you doing? He's fine, he's fine.
Oh my God.
But literally, the video goes, happy birthday to you, happy birthday. Hey, and then you hear Anne Louise go, don't grab it, like that. He goes, and you're like, oh, video's ruined.
Yeah, it's not. You've been framed on as like a sort of semi-serious
one. Is that still going?
250 quid, mate. Probably not now.
Lisa Riley, you'll be hearing from me.
I bet they've dropped it down at like 50 quid or something now because everyone's got like an iPhone. But way back when, it was a bit more of a premium, wasn't it?
I don't know, that like funny tube on telly with like Alex Zane or whatever it's called.
Killed the game.
Ruined it because
can you for impossibly exist in a world where there's things like Instagram Reels or whatever? Because surely like the best stuff is on the internet within seconds.
Yeah, it'd be so like out of date, wouldn't it? It'd be like, check out this guy carrying a croissant. Stop! I'm gonna drop a croissant. I've seen that. I saw it 10 years ago, mate.
It's like Soccer AM was dead in the water from Twitter, wasn't it? Because like all the best pat would immediately happen, and it's like, maybe I'll just wait 7 days for Tim Lovejoy to write a joke. And, no, thank you, and then you're I was hungover watching Sunday Brunch. I think that might have made my hangover worse.
That's not a good idea.
He's so awful. He's just awful.
The what's his name? Jake. Someone did a great
the
Sunday
impression.
Brunch.
Yeah.
I haven't read the details of this guest. Do some work.
My Tim Lovejoy laugh.
That's very good.
Quite good, isn't it? This character's crap, this Kit Wilson one. It's do you know what it reminded me of? We are 4 years on from it, and they have advanced precisely 0 in their understanding of societal issues, because this reminds me, remember the first version of Joe Gacy?
Yep.
Yeah. Same crap. They've heard like 4 key phrases from 8 years ago Twitter, and I'm like, right, this is really going to skew with the left. We're going to put them in their place.
No one's going to care.
It is rubbish. Absolute risible. Like, no one can possibly be offended or develop any emotional connection to it.
What's happened to Pretty Deadly? Where have they gone?
That's what I think when I see that. It's like, wait a minute, there was an overact I quite enjoyed.
Yes, bye!
Where are they gone? Like, that's rubbish.
Jake Yap. That's what we were looking for there.
That's my Tim Lovejoy again.
Right, main event in the evening. Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax, Jade Cargill.
Get us over it.
Jax throws Stratton into Cargill. I like that as a strategy straight away. Double drop kick from Tiffany Stratton takes us to a break. When we come back, Stratton hits Jax with a suicide dive, but Jax pushes Cargill into the steel steps. Not yet. There's running corner charges to Tiffany Stratton from Nia Jax. Cargill intercepts her, though. Hits her with a shove, basically. Pump handle facebuster on Stratton from Jade Cargill, but Jax breaks up that. She goes up top. Stratton shoves Cargill, tries a roll up. Cargill turns that into a submission. Stratton tries for a pin, and Jax tries to hit a big leg drop, but Stratton sees it coming and moves, and just Jade Cargill gets hit with it. Stratton heads up top, hits a swanton, gets hit with a super kick by Cargill. This was a nice spot. She collapsed onto Nia Jax, and Cargill was so exhausted she couldn't break up the pin. But Nia kicked out of it. That takes us to another break. Double superplex onto Jax from Cargill and Stratton when we come back. Rolling senton from Stratton to Cargill. Hits her prettiest moonsault ever on Jax, but Cargill breaks it up. Stratton counters Cargill's powerbomb into a Hurricane Rana. But as Stratton runs towards Cargill in the corner, he gets caught and dropped with a jaded. Nia Jax saves the match at the last second by pulling out the referee. They fight around the outside. Jade clears the commentary table. But this is the point where Nia Jax throws her into the steel steps. And if you haven't seen the image, don't go looking for it. Cargill suffers a horrific gash on her head, blood everywhere. We didn't see this yet. All we saw was Jax trying to hit an elevated suplex from the steps, but getting dropped with a Samoan drop. And then suddenly you see she's covered in crimson.
It's like a bit pools, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The blood pools.
Cargill is getting checked over by the referee. In the ring, Jax gets hit with an Eye of the Storm from Jade Cargill. This is where it all went wrong, basically. So, I'll tell you what happened, and then I'll tell you what I think was meant to happen, as me and Andy discussed on the news this morning. So, what actually happened was Cargill hits Eye of the Storm on Jax. 1-2. Nia Jax kicks out. Tiffany Stratton kicks Cargill, gets her out of the ring, lays on top of Nia Jax, who's just kicked out, but doesn't kick out for this pinfall. But the referee stops as if she did kick out, and then they just go, right, bollocks to this. And Tiffany
Stratton throws a shoulder up then, doesn't she?
Yeah.
There's been a 2. Long, it's a 100-second gap.
Yeah. And then Tiffany Stratton hit the prettiest moonsault ever and won to retain, to go on to face Stephanie Vacu, of course, Crown Jewel. I think what was meant to happen was Eye of the Storm from Jade Cargill, 1-2, drop kick or whatever the move was going to be from Tiffany Stratton to Jade to knock Jade out of the way, steals the pin, or at worst, goes to steal the pin. Nia Jax kicks out of that, but then she's like, well, Jade's taken out of it. It's prettiest moonsault ever, 1, 2, 3. So the result wasn't botched, but everything else was.
Yeah.
And none of this is Jade Cargill's fault, I'd like to say, because people like to just pile on her. By the way, do I get into it? It annoyed me, and I was, one of these people who was like, I'm not sure about Nia Jax a few years ago.
Yeah.
I thought it was, again, pretty harsh of people to be like, well, that's it, get her out. It was unsafe what happened with Jade, but accidents do happen.
What are we on about? The stairs?
The stair spot.
People get shoved into the stairs. That's accident, isn't it?
I know.
Right. So, I wasn't online much this weekend because I was thinking about it. I've already seen that. But then have they? I don't know. Maybe you don't watch SmackDown or you just not see it. It was a really horrendous, multifaceted botch City Jones conclusion.
Would you call it a world title disaster? Because that's what it says in my notes.
I sure would. Disaster in the old world title match. Botch on top of botch on top of botch. It was one of those situations where once one thing had gone wrong, another thing would, and then ultimately one begat another, and pretty much all 4 people out there, including the referee, at some point or another were tied directly to one of these botches, to the point where I've already said on the Raw podcast and earlier on about how I think a lot of the people backstage that want the credit when everything goes wonderfully well will stay a million miles away from this one because it's the performance they're out there under the lights at the end of the day. So I think there's an element of that. In terms of recovery at the point at which things have gone wrong. I think there's sometimes just people, whether it's inexperience or just a moment of freezing, I guess, and not necessarily know what I'm taking a bump in my life. I can't imagine how difficult it must be to have to change something on the fly when something goes wrong. So I have sympathies that extend to a point, but also we're here to critically analyse and judge whether or not something was good or was bad, and this was bad. This was really, really embarrassingly bad, immersion-breakingly bad. I also think there might have been an added element to what you were saying about Tiffany pushes Jade away, and then so the referee is not going to count 3. So the referee is working on the assumption that this is a 2. So Nia either doesn't kick out, or Jade was maybe supposed to pull the referee again in the same way as what happened with Nia earlier, or something like that. You know, there was like, still feels like there's like this, the referee not counting it. It looks, the cameras, it couldn't be any clearer on it. It's pretty excruciating when you're watching wrestling to have this happen.
All the three people having three different thought processes.
Yeah, they could have 50 moves after this and none of them would feel real because of what you've just seen. It's that kind of disastrous immersion breaking spell. It's not even just a singular moment. It's a series of things that...
Jay's like, thank God I'm not involved with that. Oh, wait, half of my head's fallen off.
Ah, man, it's rough.
That injury looks so bad.
It did. Hope she's all right and it is just a superficial thing rather than a... So, yeah, just... The thing was, before the botch, I was watching this, and you'll get this sometimes. We do these podcasts, and sometimes you're almost like, and it's a criticism of the match, to be honest, because if you're not feeling it 100%, you start going into podcaster brain, and you think about what you might say, or something has happened that's maybe informed a take you want to like fire off on one of our reviews or whatever. And I was watching this going, I think this is like a failure, but not without some ambition. I don't want to call it a noble failure, but I just thought it was the way it was being worked was that they were going for that triple threat spot fest vibe, and it was falling short because stuff wasn't connecting. It was clunky, but you could see, like, not to be really cruel and critical, but if they were all a little better, all this would have clung together a little bit more. But I think all three of them were guilty of maybe just being a bit too ambitious with what they thought they could pull off. Triple threats don't look easy. Wrestling
the bar is from this year is Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair.
Such a fabulous example to bring up because, you were talking about like wrestlers at the absolute peak of their game on the most high pressure of stages as well, no less, and pulling off that. Like, no mean feat, and you couldn't have held everything against them if those three wrestlers didn't necessarily have the best of nights. It just so happened that they did. This was a case of all three of them not having the best night, none of the three of them being on the level of those three you just named. And, there's hierarchies for reasons. So already a match for that. Sorry, guys. Like, it's maybe just not going to be your night. But we all get out of here and nothing gets botched. Yeah, you can call this fine bit of business. And then we don't get out of here and everything gets botched. And it's sort of like and then you just get a disaster. You're not being hyperbolic for lack of bullet points. This was a disaster, it was. The wrestlers will have to just, football cliche, dust themselves off and go again next week.
I've never seen a company move so fast onto. Anyway, Tiffany Stratton versus Stephanie Vaquer.
By the way, no highlights from it, all whatever. Jade Cargill, if nothing else, red is green. Like,
oh yeah,
look at me. No, you think this is over? Like, not only have you stopped me getting the title, but now you've made me bleed my own blood. We're gonna have to do something like that. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah,
like, there's brand new fire and fury if they want to do something on TV with those two. But otherwise,
we all remember next week. We'll preview it on Friday, of course. We all remember what happened on last week's SmackDown: an Eye of the Storm from Jade Cargill, a kick out from Nia Jax, and then the prettiest moonsault ever. That's how we remember it, and that's how it happened.
That's how that happened. Yeah.
Anyway, let us know your thoughts on everything we've discussed. Well, maybe not the first 20 minutes. Everything we've discussed in the comment section below or on X at WhatCulture WWE. You actually can follow both of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, and make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcast from for daily wrestling podcasts. The Raw preview is available right now, and a very evil podcast with me and Sidge coming away a little bit later on today. But for now, this has been the SmackDown review where we talked about the end of Melo Don't Miss, Javon Evans answering Sami Zayn's US Open Challenge, the return of Jacob Fatu, Randy Orton saving Cody Rhodes again, and a world title disaster.
Yeah. The SmackDown review. It's got all this. And I walked the David Putnam Media Center floor.
See you soon.